Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Kansas. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Can you tell us a bit about focusing capital on the long term?
Yes. So focusing capital on the long term began as an initiative about 4 years ago when the heads of the CPBIB, the Canada Pension Plan, and McKinsey got together and wrote a piece for the Harvard Business Review sort of decrying the problems of quarterly capitalism and recognizing that the way our capital markets work have gotten very, very short term. And that sparked a lot of discussion and interest, and that grew. And then last year, we were established as an independent not-for-profit organization. We have 5 founders who are CPBIB, McKinsey, BlackRock, Dow Chemical, and Tata Sons. And we have about 25 other members who are all either large asset owners, such as PGGM or the government of Singapore, or asset managers like BlackRock and Schroders and Kempen and State Street, or companies like BP and Unilever and AT&T. And the goal is to have those components of the investment value chain, the asset owners, the asset managers, and the corporations, work together to come up with very practical ways that we can elongate the time frame in our capital markets.
And so you know that in Europe, for example, quarterly reporting is no longer mandatory.
Right.
And so what's your position on this?
So our concern is more about quarterly guidance than quarterly reporting. So there's good academic evidence that quarterly guidance leads to suboptimal behavior. And in fact, a McKinsey study that was done with FCLT showed that 55% of CFOs would give up a positive net present value project if it meant that they were going to miss earnings by 1 penny. So that's clearly value destroying behavior. I think quarterly reporting has some value from a transparency point of view, and I don't think that the reporting has the impact on the mindset as much as the guidance and the forward-looking guidance issue.
Okay. And you used to work at Wellington.
I did.
Yeah. How was it transitioning from investment management to not-for-profit?
It's a very different world. Wellington is a great place. I was there for 21 and a half years. It's quite a long-term place.
Another long-term
place. It's a partnership structure. It is an organization that I think has built a long-term culture by over many, many years. And so transitioning to a nonprofit is just a very different. We're a small startup. We have 7 people. It's obviously it's a not-for-profit, but we are, because we're supported by large organizations, we sort of hold ourselves to that professional standard. But we're actually a startup nonprofit. So very different environment.
So one of the panelists in your session today said recommended to IROs to call investors up and say, okay, why did you pick us and not our competitors? Would you have taken the call when you were an investor?
I think we probably would have taken the call, and we probably would have tried to be helpful. I think that what may be even more helpful is at the end of normal meetings to just save 5 minutes or 10 minutes to say any advice for us. Because I think one of the things that we've learned is that having a dialogue between the investor and the corporation is actually important, and that usually it's not a dialogue. Usually it's a monologue. It's tell us this, and the company walks out not having learned much. They walk out having delivered a message, but they're not getting much back. They probably don't know if the investor is going to buy more or sell. They don't really know. So I think having that be part of the conversation, what's your feedback, tell us what you think, would actually be very helpful in both directions.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.